because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein Files.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you.
She's like, oh, you committed perjury just now. She's like, don't you ever. What are you going to do about it? Because you did do that. Oh, my God. Oh, let's go. Oh, please, please, R.I.P. Bozo. Please, I can't wait.
A witness statement who called into the FBI.
Epstein survivors raised their hands to signal that they've been ignored by Trump's DOJ, and AG Pam Bondi refused to look at them. 69,000 likes. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm telling you, this shit is so indefensible. Either the Republicans need to reposition themselves as the pro-pedophilia party, which some will do, like Megyn Kelly and you know, even Nick Fuentes to a certain degree did that until he dropped it and is now in opposition to it, or they're fucked. Like, there's no way out of this. And I think if they position themselves as pro-pedophilia and how pedophilia is actually good and ephebophilia is fine, all this shit, until or when they do that, when they start trying to do that, they are going to come across as even more fucking repulsive to the MAGA base even. Because the point here is to wither away Trump's base of support from that 20% that is impossible to fucking shake off Donald Trump to a 10% that is ultimately meaningless, right? That's the point here. Now, of course, the Democrats will do everything in their power to even lose that 10% of cult-like fealty, but you know, that's besides the point. We're not talking about the Democrats right now. We're talking about the Republicans, right? Because a lot of people don't understand. They think like, oh, well, Trump always has that 20 to 30%, 20 to 30%. Okay, well, that 30% that used to be unshakable, I think has withered away a little bit. Now we're in the 20 to 30% range. If it goes from 30% to 20%, tomorrow it could go to 10%. Okay? Trump, I assume, if Pam Bondi keeps doing this and steps on these landmines, will probably fucking offer her up as red meat to the base to be like, see, we're listening, we're hearing you. I think that's what's going on here.
Very briefly to her statement.
Well, I think we can do that probably on one of our members' time.
Okay, thank you. I don't want that to get away. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators. Fully redacted.
Indefensible. By the way, much respect to Thomas Massie, who is like a total freak on so many other issues, but on this one, that's my goat. Like I said, I'll work with anybody and everybody that will try to fucking put a dent in the armor of the international billionaire pedophilic cabal. Thomas Massie has been doing that. He's also a consistent advocate for Palestinians as well, uncompromising. You know, which these two issues are pretty fucking tied to one another. Let's be fucking real, right? It's not an accident that Jeffrey Epstein was so closely associated with the Israeli government. So, you know, we're rocking with Thomas Massie on this one. Respect.
And by the way,
what things you don't like about him? Dog, Thomas Massie is a fucking... You're baiting me into fucking cooking him right now. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to eat the bait. That's my goat. That's my goat. He's great. He's fantastic. What do you mean? He's like... Chatter. He is a giga libertarian who also happens to be super pro ICE. which is inconsistent with being a libertarian, but that's besides the point. We're not doing it right now. He's my goat right now in this moment.
Les Wexner is in this. Now, your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have.
Thomas Massie is a libertarian who applies non-aggression principle to minors. Okay? That's it. Most libertarians don't do that. That's the reason why he's going so hard on both Israel and also on the Epstein stuff. Most libertarians forget to apply non-aggression principle to minors. He doesn't do that. Okay? So he's anti-diddling children.
Is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need, that you're holding on to and over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times about.
Look at the reaction to Tom Massey, by the way, versus the reaction to like Pramila Jayapal.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer.
He's a white guy. Of course you like this? No. It's because he's a Republican. And this was the entire thing, by the way. Can I finish my answer? Can I finish my answer? That's all she did. All she did was fucking whine, 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 whine. All she did was fucking yell and yell and yell. And I'm telling you right now, this shit don't look good at all, brother. This shit does not look good to anybody that pays attention to it.
We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time. Mr.
This
Chairman.
isn't how this works.
Can I have my time back? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So,
yes.
The irony is not lost on me that this conversation is taking place, or rather being moderated by motherfucking Jim Jordan, okay? Who is notorious for a sex abuse cover-up, okay? Sex abuse at the Jim Jordan is the one who is also moderating this conversation. He's chairing this fucking committee and has complete command over which way this conversation goes about sex abuse cover-up by the fucking administration. He's like, I'm locked and loaded. This is like what my career has been gearing towards. Oh, the Jim Jordan, remember when he slammed the Undertaker through the Hell in Cell? Okay, stop. Jim Jordan's expertise literally lies in doing cover-up of sex abuse in Ohio, by the way, where Les Wexner actually dumped a fuckload of money to Jim Jordan's athletic program. Another Les Wexner, another moment where Jim Jordan is actually doing cover-up for a Les Wexner-affiliated sexual abuse scandal. It's pretty crazy.
to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman,
Because
may
I
I
have
give
another
my
question.
answer on that?
Here's
It's a political
the question.
joke, and I need to give my
Can I give my answer on that? Nope.
answer
Yep,
on that.
we'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his
Chairman,
next question.
it's my time.
Within 40
Chairman.
minutes, you asked me a question.
You can
Within
give me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes
You
of me catching you red-handed.
Red hand, there was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
and
Okay.
we
Yeah. You redacted Les Wexner as a primary co-conspirator. You didn't redact his name in other files, but the file that matters the most, that basically shows that he was a fucking co-conspirator, an unindicted co-conspirator, an uninvestigated co-conspirator, is the one you redacted. Yeah, you did get fucking caught. You got caught. You got caught red-handed. It's true. Oh, we just got caught red-handed for 40 minutes. Shut the fuck up. It wasn't for 40 minutes. It was for months in the initial revelation.
invited
what?
you
Switch-
in.
show the video.
This
Show
guy
the-
has Trump
Gentlemen.
derangement syndrome. He needs you're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
I
get on
want you to
these
watch the video.
matters.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the
himself,
rules here.
there is
Time.
no
I-
credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my
the
time.
last
I'm
4
glad you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
this
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion
And-
of it.
and that's
now,
where the
I want to
most
know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it
Time is
back on
up.
the screen, please, to
To the people who keep asking me, like, what makes you so confident that the Republicans will actually take their administration to task on this Epstein stuff? The fact that this hearing is even taking place is proof of that. There are plenty of things that the administration doesn't respond to at all, regardless of how much independents and Democrats chirp about. One must ask the question why this is the thing that they are responding to. It's because the Republican base cares about this, chat. How is this proof of that? Oh my God, brother, what are you talking about? This is, look, political polarization in this country is set in completely, okay? Party loyalty trumps everything else. There are very few issues that actually move across. Very few issues that actually move across party loyalty, okay? This is one of them. Trump knows that as long as he maintains his base, it's going to be fine, okay? It's not going to be fine, but like at least he can maintain some level of popular support and do whatever the fuck he wants to do. This is the one issue where his base is like, no, I'm not on board with what you're doing. I'll give you another example. Israel. Trump could have just kept allowing Israel to keep pummeling Gaza without even making an aesthetic plea to make it seem as though there was a real ceasefire taking place. Now, there isn't a real ceasefire. We know that. But the reason why he even forced Israel's hand to act like there's a ceasefire now implemented and significantly lowered the damage that Israel is doing to the Palestinians was because he realized that he was losing his own fucking base of support on this issue. Okay? And yes, while Israel has not ceased its endless pummeling of Gaza, let's be real, it's not the same. It's not to the same degree as like the amount of bombing that was taking place pre-fake ceasefire implementation. The reason why he did that is because he wanted to move the conversation away from Israel. Here is this. here is the base being at odds with the Republican mouthpieces in action, right? Laura Ingraham asked Turning Point crowd how many were satisfied with the Epstein investigation and invited applause. Let's take a look.
How many of you are satisfied? You can clap. Satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation. Clap. Okay, I told you to clap. You guys aren't listening. I'm not going to grade you on a curve. So I was going to get to that. How many of you are not satisfied with the results of the investigation?
Bondi stonewalled the D's today. The GOP base can't feel any relief from this. In your opinion, do they start calling for Bondi's resignation? I think it's important for us to try to get those guys to call for Bondi's resignation. Okay? That's what I think. Because I think if you get any W out of this, if you get any fucking blood, if you get even a little bit of blood, you cut them and they bleed a little bit, and you show people that they have the capacity to bleed, I promise you, more of it will come. Okay? That's what I think. That's what I believe. Because right now, Republicans have basically created a fortress around themselves, right? They've created a fortress around themselves on these opinions. They've created a fortress around themselves on maintaining the no compromise position. They did this with ICE, right? And even in their, I'm going back to shitting on the Democrats right now, but even in their move away from like punishing Minneapolis, they're not actually moving from punishing Minneapolis, but the Democrats are allowing them to get away with it in some ways by taking a reform position on ICE and not really making a big stink and presenting this as a big W when it's not. If you were to get a scalp, if you were to get a fucking scalp here, the blood's in the water and the sharks will pounce.
Release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on.
But don't you think it'll be just another cop-out like Bovino? Well, nothing changes. Like it feels like it's W and everyone moves on. It will be if we let it happen. But this is a domestic affair. It's the same with ICE. People are more likely to forget about Gaza because Americans are very selfish people and they think like Gaza's happening over there versus their opinion is on ICE, which is happening over here. I'll give you an example. Palantir. Palantir is in the news today. It should be in the news every day, but it's in the news today right now. Why? Because there has been an internal mutiny within the ranks of Palantir. Palantir had no issues when they were being used by Israel to murder people in Gaza. Here's a scoop from McKenna Kelly at Wired magazine. Tensions at Palantir have grown in recent weeks over the company's work with ICE. On Friday, CEO Alex Karp tried to calm concerns in an hour-long video that offered few specifics instead of offering NDAs to workers who want to understand how it's empowering ICE. Ali Winston says, amazing how ICE, not Israel, was the final straw for Palantir employees. Kind of a big tell. Did you already respond to the stupidity? Yes, I did, over and over again. I not only responded when she replied to me, but she then quote retweeted it again because she didn't get what she wanted out of that. Okay? we've moved on from that. So this is important for people to understand because ICE is domestic occupation, ICE is domestic violence, and Americans care more about domestic violence than they do about the foreign violence that we're dishing out alongside a religious ethno state, right? Israel. There is a level of like moral removal that Americans engage in when they go, oh, well, that's Israel doing it. And maybe we should stop Israel from doing it, but that's not our crime, right? That's not happening to me. It's happening to people that may or may not deserve it. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, the reason why I'm bringing this dynamic up is because the Epstein stuff is not going to go away in the same way that like people can move on from Israel, even if we don't. The majorities can move on from Israel and think like, oh, it's in the rear view mirror now. The Epstein stuff, they're not going to move on from.
Deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman,
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering,
The gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
Yeah, of course Jim Jordan is going to
All
defend
right,
Pam
I have
Bondi.
unanimous consent request.
Dick eater.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right, this is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted, even when you go to look at them.
Without objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and
Without objection.
identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from A.G. Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files that you...
Chairman, are we going to
Without
recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein Files.
Without objection. Just want to check on how much time we have left in votes, but one thing I've learned here of late that they'll wait on us.
I have a UC.
Ms. Crockett from Texas is recognized for UC.
Thank you so much. Donald Trump's approval rating
I think Bondi might get shit canned after this, but who knows? Breaking, Bondi appears to have just committed a federal crime by lying under oath. Ted Lieu just caught her in a lie and called her for her resignation on live television. We got to make a bigger stink about this, okay?
implodes on his strongest issue. This is from Newsweek today. It says 40% of people
Thank you.
approve of
You don't
Trump's
need to
handling
read
of
the article to
immigration
us.
and border security, while 60% disapprove.
Without
That
objection,
is a
admitted.
net drop
Now I
to
recognize the
negative
gentleman
20.
from California, Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. I'm going to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face.
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that we
Smart.
put the
This is smart. He comes in. He comes in with a point of agreement to, like, you know, disarm the opponent.
photos back up.
This is a lie detector technique almost, where you ask for control questions, right? Like basic questions that you're gonna fucking answer. Let's see where he goes.
We are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you...
Ooh! Okay, Ted. Okay, Ted, see? They're all sharks at the end of the day, but when they see blood in the water, they fucking cook. I would love to see how Asmongold defends this shit, by the way.
You not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before...
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Never
I agree with
mentioned
you. I agree with you. During
Were
the
you
Biden,
not here
during
then?
the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting.
These guys have no you, by the way. All they got is no you. What? Epstein is a white people thing? Oh, wait. Okay, dude. Who cares right now? Come on.
So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
Can I
question.
answer your question about protecting
You
Prince
answered the
Andrew?
question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's the video. Like former Prince Andrew.
They're just besties. They're besties. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess it's illegal to be friends now. Well, yeah, with the international sex trafficker, yeah.
Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent president.
That's so funny. Dude, you're literally sitting on a Judiciary Committee hearing because you redacted Donald Trump's name alongside numerous prolific international billionaire pedophiles. It's not exactly a moment where you can defend the transparency of the fucking administration. Oh, what a crock of absolute dog shit.
Presidency. He's the one
I'm-
that asked that those files.
And she just keeps deflecting too whenever they're like, hey, notice how you protected international sex traffickers? Like over and over again. And she's like, well, this is the most transparent administration.
Reclaim my time.
He
I got
This is also kind of Israel. This is like Israel, the most moral nation.
your answer. You said there's
President
no evidence.
Trump asked
Chairman, please stop the clock.
He
Stop
signed
the clock.
the legislation.
Time.
This is
Time.
I'd like to
ridiculous.
reclaim my time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from
Okay.
California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein files.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is.
She's like, oh, you committed perjury just now. She's like, don't you ever. What are you going to do about it? Because you did do that. Oh, my God. Oh, let's go. Oh, please, please, R.I.P. Bozo. Please, I can't wait.
A witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. and he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not
can
ask a
respond,
question,
but
Mr.
he
Andrew.
doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in
Oh my God. Dude, her answer literally always is like, well, what about crime in California? What about this? Dude, this is, I can't believe I'm saying this because we're seeing this currently at the national stage play out. Debate pedophilia. This is the highest state of debate pervertry, which is debate pedophilia. Fucking awesome. You can't hit this. You can't hit this if you're not Trump. This is a Trumpian response, right? No you, no you, no you, over and over again. Only Trump gets to do that. And even on the Epstein stuff, Trump can't do that either. Because guess what? The no you can't be fucking worse. I mean, or the no you, when you do no you, it has to be worse overall than what you are covering up. When someone calls you a pedophile or a pedophile protector, you can't turn around and say, okay, well, you like domestic abuse, for example. Do you see what I mean? Like, you can't turn around and go, well, you're saying that I'm like protecting pedophiles, but what about your crimes against small businesses? You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. It's ironic because I experienced one of these like debate pedophiles earlier, right? One of the things that I was, here's an example, right? Here's a fucking example. Here's a glaringly obvious example of this no you defense not actually working and falling flat on its fucking face. Where is it? Let me find it real quick. Here. You're in a sex cult led by a pedophile streamer. The day he goes Republican, you will too. You didn't care when he boosted Sam Hyde, Nick Fuentes, or Lauren Southern. Don't talk to me about obeying in advance. Vote blue no matter who got us into this mess. How many Groyper accounts have you retweeted and signal boosted? Does know you work there, you think? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's the same exact strategy. It doesn't work. At least for the time being,
From Tennessee's recognized.
pedophilia still has a lot of stigma, luckily. It's kind of going away, but at least it has a lot of stigma. Just so I can feel something, can you please zoom in on Bondi's awful roots? Her cosmetologist clearly hates her and I need to feel something. Okay. No.